has been too lonely, and the road has been too long, and you think that love is lonely only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the sea that's with the sun's love. In the spring becomes the rose. I can only imagine what it would be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes would say when your face is before me. I can only imagine to be surrounded by your glory. What would my heart feel? Would I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all you be still? Will I spend in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? I will be able to speak it all. I can only imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine what it would be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. To be surrounded by your glory, what would my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Or be able to sing it all? I can only imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Imagine. To be surrounded by your glory, what would my heart feel? Would I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Or will I able to speak at all. I can only imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I could only imagine. Thank you. I love the words to this song. It's called Testify by Diane Reeves. And they're so true. Sometimes you won't understand the way that life is the way it is. Some things don't always go the way you planned them. But I believe God in time is anonymous, and in time God reveals all things. You gotta be still, stand in love, pay attention. I just want to testify. I want to testify. I just want to testify. I want to testify. When I look back over my life, I shudder when I think of the things that I put myself in. But amazing grace has always carried me to safety. No, and I go back and do the same thing again and again. No one could ever love me the way that you do. In spirit, mind, and body, I surrender daily till. I just want to testify. I want to testify. I just want to testify. I gotta testify. So sweet the journey when you learn to love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, respect yourself, believe in yourself, and be yourself. With amazing grace as my constant friend, I am free of anger, I am free of fear, and my mind is at ease. I don't regret a single yesterday, 'cause yesterday made me who I am today. And I just want to testify. I gotta testify. 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 Come here. Testify, testify. Ooh, testify, testify. God's been good. Testify, testify. Ooh, testify, testify. Oh, testify, testify of all that you've been testify of all that you're going to do, Lord. Testify, testify, testify. Thank you. Thank you. Our next selection is Nina Simone. I wish I knew how. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains that's holding me. Well, I wish I could say all the things that I could say. Say 'em loud and say 'em clear for the whole wide world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bonds that keeps us apart. Well, I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'll see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. Now I wish I could do all the things that I can do. Though I'm way overdue, well, I'll be starting anew. I wish I could fly like a bird in the sky. Now how sweet, sweet it could be if I found out I could fly. Well, I'll soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing 'cause I know. Well, I'd sing 'cause I know. Well, I'd sing. Oh, I'd sing. Oh, can I hear y'all say 'cause I know? 'Cause I know. Well, I'd sing. Well, I'd sing. Ooh, sing. I'd sing every day, every hour. Yes, I'd sing. Oh, I'd sing. Oh, I'd sing 'cause I know. It feels to be free. Thank you. So we're going to continue on with Nina, in the style of Nina Simone. Many people did this song, Everything Must Change, which seems appropriate for today. everything must change. Nothing remains the same. Everything must change. No one and nothing stays the same. Young becomes the old. Mysteries to unfold, 'cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one remains the same. There are no few things in life that you can be sure of. Rain comes from the clouds, sunlight from the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. So I guess this song really is true, because we need to change this key. It's all right. Everything must change. Nothing remains the same. Everything must change. No one and nothing remains the same. Young becomes the old. Mysteries do unfold. That's the way of time. Nothing and no one remains the same. There are so many things in life that you can be sure of. Only a few. Except rain comes from the cloud, the sunlight's in the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Except rain comes from the clouds, and sunlight's up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Thank you. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. You can't find the fighter, but I see it in you. You're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the aches, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, I know you feel like dying, but I promise we're gonna take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the aches, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, 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 for you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Lynette Barber, Will Ellis. Thank you.
Being here today on this very serious occasion at a time when many in our city are hurting. Today, we're going to honor those who've been lost and those who've been injured. And we'll start today with opening remarks from our mayor, who has been on the front lines at every minute since that tragic day of October 13th. Madam Mayor, the floor is yours.
As mayor of our great city, I'm honored to be here today to bring all of us together for this day of healing. I want to quickly thank Governor Cooper for his steady support, as well as the many other elected officials who are here today. I want to acknowledge the work of the Raleigh Police Department and the public safety agencies who responded to this tragedy. There are no adequate words to show our appreciation. In particular, I want to acknowledge our city manager, Marshall Adams-David, and our police chief, Estelle Patterson. Thank you for your leadership. I also, yes, very appropriate. I also want to thank our partners, the NAACP and Moms Demand Action, who helped organize today's vigil. Most importantly, I want to thank each of you for coming out this afternoon as we collectively try to begin the difficult process of healing. Our hearts are with the victims and their families as we all grieve and try to process this senseless tragedy. Last Thursday, in the early evening, as the news began to spread, I'm sure many of us had the same thought. Not here, not us, not in Raleigh. We all hoped that something like this would never happen in our community. It was my prayer every night before I went to sleep. And yet, here we all are, standing together on this beautiful fall day for the singular purpose of remembering and honoring the 5 people whose lives were tragically lost, the 2 victims who were injured, and the thousands of people who are hurting as a result, including friends and families. Before I go any further, I want to read the names of the deceased as we open our hearts and our prayers to them and their families. Nicole Connors, Susan Carnitz, Mary Marshall, Raleigh Police Officer Gabrielle Torres, and a 16-year-old juvenile. I'd also like to acknowledge those who are injured. Marcel Gardner, who remains at Wake Med, and Senior Officer Casey Clark, who was treated and released. The outpouring of support from Raleigh for the families is both humbling and, quite frankly, emotionally overwhelming. As I look out into the audience today, seeing friends, neighbors, and community members standing together, that is awe-inspiring. I'm calling on all of you today to keep these families in your heart, not just today or even next week, but in the months and years to come, because that is the time when they will need our support the most. If you have the means, please consider a donation to the family's GoFundMe pages to help them with expenses, or to a nonprofit working on gun violence prevention or mental health. To quote the great American poet Maya Angelou, "Nothing can dim the light which shines from within. We as a community must emerge from this darkness by relying on one another so that the inner glow of this great city continues to shine. Right now, we need your kindness. We need your support. Gun violence is an epidemic, but we must be the cure. Together, let's commit to ending gun violence in our community so that we no longer have to say again, not here, not us, not in Raleigh, in fact, not in any community. But for today, let's remember why we're here. It's to honor those whose lives were lost, honor the lives of those who've been changed forever, and offer them our love and support. Thank you.
Now we'll have the invocation by Reverend Paul Anderson.
May we bow our heads in a word of prayer. Master of the universe, we come before you asking for your divine presence. We call you many different names in many different places all around the world. But today we call you to be our protector. We ask that you would be with us as we gather. We thank you for the words that we would utter, but we also thank you for what we will feel in our hearts. We thank you for the person who is sitting beside us, in front of us, around us, and behind us, those that are standing close by. Help us to stand close to one another as you hold us up, as we hold up our community. Be with all of our presenters on today who will speak, and we ask that you would give us the strength to make our words become action. So we pray and ask this all in your mighty name. Amen.
During my 20 years in the United States Air Force, I had the opportunity to see what a true leader is. There's a total difference between a leader and a true leader. And we saw a great example of that on October the 13th from the governor of the state of North Carolina, who didn't wait 1 second to give this community everything that it needed. At this time, I call Governor Roy Cooper.
Thank you, Gerald. Grateful to have here our Secretary of the Department of Crime Control, Department of Public Safety, Eddie Buffalo, Secretary of State, Elaine Marshall, and other leaders who are here. I wanted to be here today because I know it helps to find comfort in community. And we know here in Raleigh we have a community whose strength runs deep, providing a bottomless well of resilience for us to tap in times like these. On Friday, I met with the amazing family of Raleigh Police Officer Gabriel Torres. Even in the midst of their unfathomable pain, anger, and grief, they were kind, telling me things about the wonderful life of the father, husband, son, brother, who was so suddenly ripped away. Over the past week, I've prayed for all of the victims. Officer Torres, Nicole Connors, Susan Carnitz, Mary Marshall, James Thompson. All special people who were making a difference. I've prayed for the families and friends left behind who are right now feeling unimaginable pain. Pray for the first responders, law enforcement officers, and medical providers who acted quickly in chaotic and difficult circumstances. And for the Raleigh community as a whole that is left to make sense of this heartbreak caused by this infuriating and senseless act of violence. And I've prayed for the policymakers, a lot of them here today, sitting right here, for those who've been trying to help prevent these tragedies, as well as for those who refuse to acknowledge the real problems. We must do more to stop gun violence. It robs us of souls every day, whether it's accident, suicide, or murder. We must be determined to stop it. As gun violence has surpassed car accidents as the leading cause of death for young people, we are shocked. And we should be shocked into action. We need the wisdom to find solutions, the determination to see them through, and the courage to stand up to the powerful forces that resist common sense change. Doing nothing is unacceptable. Since taking office, I've used my veto stamp to stop bad legislation that would loosen gun laws. And I've used my executive order pen to make positive changes. At my direction, we made stronger background checks by adding hundreds of thousands of criminal charges into the gun purchase system. We're pushing forward with a firearms safe storage campaign, even though the legislation funding it hasn't passed yet. When we own guns, we must keep them safe. And we must keep them out of the wrong hands. Owning guns brings great responsibility. I've convened meetings with police and sheriffs and prosecutors and mayors and federal law enforcement to work on solutions. And I've directed millions of dollars into mental health first aid for young people so teachers and school staff are trained on warning signs and how to help. But there is so much left to do. The North Carolina State Legislature must act. I and many people here propose common sense changes that we can make to keep our schools, our stores, our churches, our streets safer. From red flag laws to stronger background checks to banning weapons of war that do not belong outside of the battlefield. To investing more in mental health and expanding Medicaid, because this is a public health problem too. We must keep pushing our legislators to have the political courage to tackle the issue of gun violence head on and to have the willingness to try and seek common sense, common ground. As the news cycle rolls on, and last week becomes last month, and last month becomes last year, we can never, ever forget the lives we lost on October the 13th. We can never normalize the slaughter of innocent people, even as it keeps happening again and again and again. Especially because it keeps happening again and again and again. We cannot and we should not. We should never be the same. Thank you, and may God bless this city, our state, our country, and all of those who have suffered from the horror of gun violence.
You know, Dr. King had Mahalia Jackson as the person that he would call in the middle of the night when he needed that voice to inspire him and to encourage him to move forward. For me, here in our community, it's another Gerald. His name is Gerald Hinton. I can call him in the middle of the night through those storms and just say, sing. And today I want to share my friend with our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gerald Hinton.
In times like these, we need that wind beneath our wings. It must have been cold there in a shadow. Never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. Oh, I was the one with all the glory. You are the one with all the strength. Just a face without a name. I never heard you once complain. Did you know you were my hero? My hero. Everything I ever wanted to be, I wanted to be, yeah. Now, I can fly higher than an eagle. Yeah. You're the wind beneath my wings. Now, it might have gone a bit unnoticed. I've got it right here in my heart. Now it's time to tell the truth, that I would be nothing without you. Woo. Did you know you were my hero? My hero. Everything I ever wanted to be, I wanted to be, yeah. Now, I can fly higher than an eagle, yeah. You're the wind beneath my wing, 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 my wing. You're my hero, my hero. Everything, everything, everything I wanted to be, yeah. I wanted to be, yeah. Now, I can fly higher than an eagle, yeah. Woo! You're the wind beneath my wing. My wing. You're that wind. When I needed somebody to lean, that wind, woo, that wind. Mama, I need that wind. Daddy, I need that wind. Since I need that wind, Mama, I need that wind. Woo.
At this time, we're going to call Reverend Anderson back up to the stage to give us a spiritual message that will help guide us towards the healing that we all need.
Thank you, Gerald. Before I begin, I'd like to ask all the clergy that are here today, regardless of your faith group and inclusive of all your faith group, all the clergy to please come and stand right in front of the stage because we're all in this together. I would invite all the clergy to please come and stand in front of the stage, all of our rabbis, all of our imams, and all of those who are here and your faith group, please come and stand in front of the stage because this is a message that I'm giving on behalf of all of us as we reach out to community, and we're so grateful. As they're coming, I would like to just take a quick moment to say thank you to our great governor of this great state. You ought to give the Lord a hand praise for him. And we're so thank you, Governor. Thank you to our mayor. And thank you to all of you. Today, as I speak, it's my opportunity to share with you a message that I have entitled, Answering the 911 Call. Do you hear what I hear? Answering the 911 call. Do you hear what I hear? It was the late Reverend Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was the former president of Morehouse College and of the Atlanta school system. He frequently would quote this poem before he began a message. He said, I only have just 1 minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, cannot refuse it, did not seek it, did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give an account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is wrapped up in it. Today, I'm standing here not so much as the pastor of the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, nor the numerous boards and nonprofit organizations that I'm a member of or any of us as clergy are, but today I'm standing here as the senior volunteer chaplain for the Raleigh Police Department. I have seen much being a volunteer chaplain since 1992. I was asked by Mayor Baldwin to say just a few words, and the first thing that I can say is that I've never seen it like this before. Never has this happened in our city of Raleigh or our county of Wake. It was on that evening of Thursday, October 13th, that we all had to see the sad news through the lens of those who were reporting it to us over the news media. There were countless numbers of individuals and families whose lives have been changed, and so much so that all of us are here today to make a difference. As we begin to reflect on those moments, we begin to understand that our lives are just as fragile as a glass or mirror. It has been shattered, and now we have pieces all over the place. It is our responsibility as a community to bring about healing, to help us as religious leaders to put the pieces back together. Healing can only occur in the same way we responded on October 13th. It was a community emergency. All hands were on deck. We became a unified force of hands on deck to support the wounded, to share with the suffering, and to comfort those who were dying and those who were giving compassionate care to families. Just as we were united as a city on Thursday, October 13th, to apprehend and to stop the violence, today we are a united force of clergy and of people of faith and community, that together we might put back the pieces. On today, we can only thank all of those emergency responders. We thank all of those of the staff of Wake Med. We thank God for the governor and all of those who mobilized efforts that we were able to apprehend the person. But now we need assistance. We need all of our assistance. Today, let's put our hands together that we can stop the violence. Let's put our hearts together that we can become better acquainted with each other. Today, I invite you to introduce yourself to someone who's next to you, someone who's in front of you, around you, or beside you, because together we can stop the violence. We answered the call on Thursday, October 13th. It was an emergency call. Today, I hear the same 911 call. It's a call to help us to eliminate the threat, eliminate the danger. Every one of us who are here today, we have something to do. We have something to say. Let us do something. Let us say something to create an environment of safety, a place of calm, that we can answer the call. Do you hear what I hear? I hear the emergency call for us to bring about healing spiritually, mentally, and physically. And lastly, if we were on an airplane, the flight attendant will let us know, in the event if there's a sudden loss of cabin pressure, that there will be oxygen masks that will find themselves right in front of us. They tell us to make sure that you put on your oxygen mask first before you're able to help the person next to you. May all of us do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, so then we can take care of the numerous persons around us. God has given all of us a special gift. He's given all of us the great responsibility that we can make a difference in the world. I conclude with the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. He said, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much to seek to be consoled as to console others, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we're born to eternal life. Today, I hope you hear what I hear. There's a new 911 emergency call. It's the call for all of us to do what we did on October 13th. Let's all work together in love and faith and in the power that has been entrusted into us. May God bless you, and may heaven smile upon us all. Let us all work together. Thank you.
The next person who's going to speak lost somebody that he truly loves. I can't imagine what he's going through. But I can empathize with his pain. Robert Steele, the fiance of Mae Marshall.
Mary was a beautiful woman. Her presence lightened and lit up every room she walked into. She was loving and happy. She was loud and stubborn, especially when she was right, which she was most of the time. Mary had extremely high standards for the people that she let into her circle. She didn't take crap from anyone. To be a friend of hers Your soul had to be as good as hers. Where she chose to work, Triangle CRC, reflected that. It tickled her pink to work with people that passed that test of being able to be her friends. From the things that I've heard about Nicole Connors and Sammy, Lynn Gardner, Officer Torres, and Susan Carnatz, they are the kind of people that would have been in her circle. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the Hedingham community has pulled together to help those of us who lost someone, as well as each other. Meal trains have been set up, random visits are being made, new connections are being formed. In addition to Hedingham, we're all receiving words of encouragement from across the city, the state, the country, and even around the world. This is how we heal. Pull together. Talk to your neighbors. Learn something new about them. Invite them over. Get to know each other. Hold events together. Walk your dogs together. Exchange phone numbers and check on each other. Not just today or tomorrow, but every day. I know I have dark days coming. It's inevitable. But I also know that I'll get through them because my community, my friends, and my family will be there for me. This is how we heal. Be someone's favorite place.
I want to acknowledge some of our leadership that's here with us today. Secretary Elaine Marshall from the Governor's Office, Secretary Buffalo, Congressman Price is here, Congresswoman Ross is here, Representative Gill is here, Representative Roberson is here. Senator Chaudhry is here. Councilmember Cox, Councilmember Knight, Councilmember Melton, Councilmember Bufkin, Councilmember Forte, and Councilmember Branch. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day, and for most of you, taking the time to be off the campaign trail. That's right. And I want to also recognize Sig Hutchinson, Wake County Commissioner, and Monica from the Board of Education. Nicole, Susan, Mary, Gabriel, James are missed by family and friends. Marcel and Casey, we are all hoping that you pull through. Two of the victims are veterans like me. Gabriel, a Marine, and Mary, a sailor, and I'm an airman. Though we served in 3 different branches of service, the Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Medal, and the Humanitarian Service Medal are some common awards our nation has bestowed upon the 3 of us. Being an American veteran means you were willing to fight and die in the service of this country. And that means being apart from your friends, your family, and your loved ones. It means being abandoned. It means abandoning the control over your life and to others and having to trust your well-being to them. It means risking life and limb and potential permanent injury, either to complete a mission, help your buddies fighting alongside you, or just doing what you were supposed to do. It means you took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And we fulfilled our contract. Since there is no longer a military draft in this country, it means that all of us voluntarily signed up. And one of the first lessons that you learn in what we call the ARR, the Area of Responsibility, a United States military acronym referring to the geographic region assigned to a strategic military command, is not everything in life goes exactly or accordingly to plan. Nicole, Susan, Mary, Gabriel, James, Marcel, and Casey didn't plan on the horrific day of October 13, 2022. And neither did any of us. The first of many hard steps after a tragedy like this is figuring out how to greet each other, the bereaved. It's hard to even say good morning. We hesitate to ask, how's everybody doing, fearing the answers. But today, I want us to try something together. Maureen Brown has a great version of bringing people together by doing something called a 2-word check-in. Together, we're about to go real old school, like humans have done for millennia, with call and response. I want one person to call out 2 words about how they're feeling, and I'd like everyone to repeat it back. And before the next person goes, I'll get us started. All right, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? All right, here we go. Heartbreaking and hope. Christina, 2 words on your mind right now. One more. How about love? Repeat. All right. David, 2 words. Say that louder. I understand. What we all just did is took a small step, but an important step to healing right now. I know how important these steps are because I've lost family members to gun violence. The 7th one just last week as well. A 2-year-old cousin in St. Louis, Missouri got access to his father's firearm. So I know these steps, and sometimes I have to restart them too. But hearing each other, relying on community, using our voices are some of the steps that we have to take together. Over the past week in many conversations, I've heard angry, scared, confused, shocked, grief, disbelief, fury, hope, love, and the most important, community. We feel these things, and at the same time, many are looking to us for help. It's a tough spot, and one our first responders know all about. Chief Patterson and the Raleigh Police Department and law enforcement agencies performed at their best during one of the most imaginable times. Governor Cooper didn't hesitate. That helicopter we've been wanting here for this city helped the law enforcement create a cordon preventing any further injuries or loss of life. Mayor Baldwin, the city council and staff, who comforts the comforters? That's where we see the second responders and the third. When you're the leader during the most tragic times, who's keeping up with you? Maybe that's a pastor, a counselor, your family, and then widening circles of the community. Maybe today, that might be me. As I learned during my service in the Air Force, everybody needs that response and the support. That's why I showed up at all of the press conferences with hugs and words of encouragement so that they could continue providing the same to all of us. We all need that, whether we're a first responder, second, or third responder. It's all a part of the healing journey. From our chief to the governor to the mayor, each one had to take hard but necessary steps towards healing for us. Just like a few moments ago when we took steps to hear each other, most of us didn't realize it at the time, but even in the midst of tragedy, we're already walking a path towards healing because we were there for each other. We heard the call and we gave the response. We've talked about first and second responders, and maybe all of you are here as third responders, those who are going to carry our voices and stories on to many more. So I want to tell you a couple of stories about some people that I know. In 2019, I met Elia Eastman in Washington, D.C. at an annual gun violence prevention conference. Elia was sitting in her class wearing headphones and working on a computer when a gunman opened fire in her school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, in Parkland, Florida, on February 14, 2018. Since that horrible day, Elia has spoken to audiences like you more than 700 times. But there were many steps to get there, starting first with those first responders. Before the talking started, there were many days and nights of crying, not being able to sleep or eat, trying to determine the difference between is this a dream or is it reality? Grief and loss is something all of us are going to experience at one time or another. But when it comes to gun violence, we don't understand why or how someone could be so angry or hateful. And that's when we need third and fourth responders like my buddy Tony Cope, a husband and father who puts on a Moms Demand Action t-shirt, a different color every day, everywhere he goes. Why? Because Tony was shopping with his family at an Apex Target store in 2010 when a gunman fatally shot a cashier. Tony hid with his youngest daughter after his wife Susan and their older daughter managed to escape. Tony knows what gun violence feels like. And from time to time, when some people in our community are feeling lost and at their lowest point, sometimes they see Tony in that t-shirt and take the first step to strike up a conversation. Now they're wearing Moms Demand t-shirts, and they're making an impact in our community. You might not be ready to take the steps to speaking engagements, but you may be ready to wear a t-shirt. Or grab one sheet of paper and a pen and write a letter about how gun violence impacts you in your community and send it to your elected officials and local newspaper. Imagine our collective power of the pen. Or maybe you can send a text message like Becky Curtis and Sarah Smith with North Carolinians Against Gun Violence, asking, have you made a plan to vote on November the 8th? There are so many steps to stopping the gun violence epidemic in America, just as there are so many steps to grieving, and they don't even happen in order. But I don't know anybody who is taking more steps than a lady named Poe Murray. I met Poe at the National Vigil for All Victims of Gun Violence. She believed she was living in one of America's safest neighborhoods. This illusion would crumble in less than 11 minutes when a 20-year-old neighbor drove to Sandy Hook Elementary armed with an assault rifle and a handgun and multiple rounds of ammunition. Since Sandy Hook, Poe has logged more than 10 million steps through the halls of the United States Congress and the White House. 10 million steps almost seems impossible, but like you and me, she started with a single step. We can't heal ourselves and we can't heal each other without turning our hope into action. You're all listening, first, second, and third responding, walking, and I'm still hopeful that we can end this epidemic. What I'm saying to all of you today is you are not alone. Don't isolate yourself and think you have to carry this hurt and the giant weight of loss on your own. We have first and second and fourth responders, and there are many steps that we can take together. I can only imagine how many conversations our community pastors, counselors, families, and friends have had since this tragic day. You may not be ready for healing right now, but maybe you're still in anger or in disbelief. But that's okay. But hearing each other out today and finding solace in our common humanity is already a step toward it. And we know that as a community, we have got to be there for one another. Just like when 9 black and 7 white people died as a result of the Springfield race riot in 1908, many people of different races and faiths took their courageous step to create the NAACP in 1909. They had had enough of violence. Have you had enough of violence? I hear you, and you're not alone. As I close, I want to recognize someone that's here today, that's standing out here in the audience. He made a huge step by being here with us today. Mr. Christopher Miller from Fayetteville. His baby girl, Haley Genesis Miller, 16, of Fayetteville, passed away on Wednesday, September the 8th, 2021, from a gunshot wound. I spoke at his daughter's funeral service. Since then, Chris calls me every week to share his steps. We started talking about the significance of the drums in Africa. Traditionally, the drum is the heartbeat, the soul of most African communities. Just like call and response music, drums have also been an intrinsic part of African life for centuries. And it's an ancient instrument used to give voice to all aspects of life. For Haley's first commemoration, he and his wife Leanne hosted Drums Up and Bullets Down. That's how our stories and our steps that we take together become entwined, thicker, stronger, going farther than we could ever do it alone. Know there is somebody at every step of this journey, somebody who can meet you exactly wherever you are. One day, you may look back on 10 million steps just like Poe. Today, you can at least look back on the first steps that we took here together. Keep on walking and amplifying each other's voices. One way you can do that is to join the Raleigh Apex NAACP. If just 100 of you join our branch today, we will become the largest NAACP branch in the state. Raleigh, I hear you. Through my work with the NAACP, as someone directly impacted by gun violence, I'm fortunate to hear many of your stories. Thank you for letting me share some with you, and let's keep hearing each other, and let's heal together one step at a time. Pray for me and all of us as we take the lead on working with the Raleigh Police Department, the City Council, the Wake County Commissioners, essential partners like Community Justice Action Fund, Wake Med, UNC Rex, and the Raleigh Chamber activate good to stand up our city's community violence intervention program. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, City Manager, for allocating $2 million in January to start our program. And thank you for listening to me and all of our partners. God bless you all. God bless our city and county. God bless North Carolina. God bless America. And may God continue to protect our troops at home and abroad. I would like to ask all of the gun violence prevention advocates, activists to all come forward as we get together to join our city and our community to sing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. Come forward. Gerald, come help us out. Let's keep our leaders in prayer. Let's remember our common humanity. Good night, everyone.